All right, so today we're working on BAT, or behavior adjustment training. And what the great thing about this method is it's great for dogs that are reactive. And by reactive, I mean a dog that's going to bark or be really anxious when they're confronted with some type of situation, whether that's people or dogs or anything else. So if a dog is reactive, it doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. It could just simply mean that they're really excitable. So a really friendly dog could want to go running up to the kids and like jump all over them. We can use this method. We can also use this method when dogs are fearful or have a tendency to nip. That way we're training them to relax. When that's the case, we tend to see that dogs kind of get so close to a new person or a new dog, and they all of a sudden realize that they're too close for comfort, and that's when they kind of strike out and nip at someone, because they're no longer critically thinking. Through using this training method, we're essentially letting the dog take control, but they're on a leash with their owner. So the owner is there as an emergency brake type of situation to help make sure the dog doesn't bolt forward and kind of go over that boundary, and teaches them to calmly approach somebody new. So in today's scenario, we're working with a dog named Max, and he is a little fearful of people. So what we're going to be doing is letting him start to approach when he's calm. Remember, calmness is key. If he's panting heavily, being anxious, moving fast in any direction, he's too anxious to come forward. When he's calm, standing pretty quietly, the leash is nice and loose, he's sitting, laying down, then you can take steps forward towards me. So if this is me, here's Max over here. He slowly approaches, he gets anxious, he starts to walk away. And then he starts to get closer when he's calm. And so we just kind of keep doing this dance where we're going back and forth until eventually he's close enough to reach me and he's confident and calm. Now, today, maybe he's not going to be confident enough to get all the way to me for me to start petting him. That's okay. It's better for him to come over, be able to smell me or be close to me, and then end the session there, and have him start to build up his trust that his personal space won't be violated, than to hurry up and make sure I can pet him so I feel like we did a good job. We want to take this nice and slow to build up Max's confidence and trust. I would also want to include that over the next month or two, depending on how his progress is going, don't have anybody pet him. Bring him out and about and have him get close to people, but don't let people pet him. If people come up to you and say, "Can I pet your dog?" say, "No, I'm sorry. You can't." And you can give any reason you want, whether he's fearful, he doesn't feel well, whatever the case may be. You're doing that in his best interest. You can start bringing Max closer if he's calm. He's in the other room. If Max is calm, you can start coming closer. The other things to note as other rules for working on this kind of training method is that whoever is working with Max can't pet him or give him a lot of directions. You want to be pretty quiet, and your main goal is to watch his behavior so you can help monitor him. You want to keep the leash loose on him at all times, unless you have to pull him backwards. Go ahead and pan over to him. I'll keep talking in the background. Good.
Max, come here.
So what he's doing, the owner's doing is great. He's kind of patting his leg as a way to signal to Max to walk back towards him. In the beginning, this is the second time we went through this.
Max, come.
Good. Now loosen the leash. Good. Good. He's interested in the camera. Just pull him back.
Max, come.
Walk into the hallway a little bit. There you go. So what we did there is we're just encouraging him to walk away. If Max is anxious and is acting like that, he's stressed, you want to encourage him to walk away until he can stand calmly, sit or lay down, and then it's time for him to start to move forward. Remember, the owner shouldn't be too involved. You can help call him back like the owner did, patting his leg or calling his name when he has to move away. But otherwise, just like the owner's doing right now, stay calm and try not to be too involved in whatever he's doing. Another important thing is to pick your battles. If he starts jumping up at you, this isn't the perfect ideal situation to now be training that behavior. Try to ignore it to the best of your ability. But the main focus should be on getting him comfortable around new people and not necessarily trying to address other behavioral issues during this training time period. Okay, he's calm. Take a step forward. And then Lori, just pan over to where Max is to where I am, so you can see in the video about the distance between Max and I. Excellent. Good. You can go back over to Max. Okay, so he's a little anxious about the camera. Bring it
Max,
back.
come. Max, come. He's had his picture taken before.
You can let him go in his crate if you keep the door open, that's okay.
He went in, but he came right back out.
I'm just mentioning that if he wants to walk in there for a second, that's fine.
Okay. Max,
Bring it
come.
back. There you go. All we're doing is waiting for him to be calm enough to take a step forward. Yes, he's calmed down, but likely right now, notice his panting, he still can get excitable. You can see him wiggling around. That's an indicator that he's still pretty anxious, so that's about as far as you want to be right now, or as close as you want to be to the new person at this moment, because he's not ready to move forward. Yeah, if the camera's off a little bit, it's because we need the camera person to be able to sit back, because as we move closer, he gets more anxious. Is he in the SIT?
Yes.
I thought so. Take a small step forward. Remember those baby steps we talked about earlier? Good. Once tiny, short steps are even better, because it gives the dog a feeling like they're not getting too close too fast, so it tends to build their confidence. And you'll make faster progress the slower you go. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but if you try to rush towards someone, he's going to get anxious. He's not going to be able to control himself. If you go really slow, you'll actually get towards that new person, that new dog, faster than if you kept trying to walk fast and having to walk backwards and going back and forth. So nice and slow usually is the best method. Take another small step forward. Perfect, great. Loosen the leash up in your hands. There you go. He sat down, which was great. Don't look at him. Good. He didn't jump up at you that time, which was excellent. He thought about it. Take a small step forward. Perfect. Is he in the DOWN?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. No.
Still SIT.
Oh.
All right.
No, it's fine. I was just trying to see where he was at, because I can't visually see
Sure.
him right now. Take a small step forward.
Still behind me.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Another small step forward. Excellent. This is a much calmer dog right now. His tail is relaxed. I know his tail is not long, but where it is, you can tell now he's going into a DOWN, and he's much, much calmer. Much calmer.
Mm.
Just hold it horizontally.
That's one about the chair in the way.
Okay,
Next.
have him walk a little
Back.
bit backwards. There you go. That's good. If he can stay calm at that distance, that's great. So just as notes for his behavior while you're watching the video later, even though he's sitting, that whining and heavier panting is an indicator that he's still stressed. So those are indicators that you want to stay where you are. You don't want to move forward if he's giving those types of stress signals, that he's panting heavily, whining, crying. If he keeps trying to jump up at you like he wants to be picked up like a puppy does, those are all indicators that either you need to take a step backwards or you should at the very least not move forward. Obviously pacing, trying to pull on the leash, trying to get closer, any excitable energy, those are all, again, signals that you probably should be taking steps backwards. Loosen the leash up. Okay, take a small step forward, loosen the leash. Don't look at him. Yes, I know why you keep holding the leash, because you don't want him to do this.
Right.
But on the flip side, it also means when you have the leash tighter, he tends to get more anxious. So just take a small step forward. Don't look at him. Pull him back. There you go. Don't look at him. There you go. Goofball, he had the leash on top of his head. You can use, I want to remind you on the video that you can use a chain leash. Again, this is not to wrap around his body. That's only to clip onto his collar so it won't hurt him, but it'll prevent him from being able to chew on the leash like this.
I'm going to stop this though.
I would prefer that you didn't.
Okay.
I would prefer that you didn't, because it's actually probably helping him calm himself down. And when he has a metal leash, it'll stop him from having this bad habit. So I'd probably encourage you guys to get one pretty soon. But right now, we want to focus on this one main goal of getting him closer calmly. And if that's going to help him, he's doing it almost like a pacifier, like chewing and gnawing at something to calm him down. Try taking a step forward. Take another step forward. Do you see how much calmer he is, though, that now that he almost has something to do? Mm-hmm. We've tried giving him bones at this time, but he is not interested enough in that. Oh, did he just chew through it?
He will, yep.
No, did he already do it?
Yep.
Yep.
All right, go ahead and loop the leash around through his collar. I did not realize that he could chew through it that fast.
Oh, yeah.
Just so you still have control over him. Okay, take a small step forward. He's still being calm because he's kind of... Don't look at him. Take a small step forward. Good job. Take a small step forward. If you want to, you can step over him so he doesn't actually have to get up. There you go.
I think he's finishing off the leash.
He's trying to. I'll give you a new one to replace this one.
I'll get that chain one too.
Take a step forward. Our goal for this video is just to get to the point where the owner can sit down in the chair to over to the right, and that will help Max here learn how to be calm around new people. Again, we're trying to build up his trust. What you want to do when he starts getting into closer proximity to people is letting him spend more and more time in close quarters with people without them initiating contact. So the next steps, just to let you know, because we're almost done with this video, because we're making good progress, this is much faster than the first time we went through it, but the next steps on what you want to be doing is letting him come over and smell people longer and longer and asking them not to pet him. Dogs give a very clear signal and sign when they're wanting to be petted versus smelling to just smell and get to know a new person. They'll start to kind of look up at you, wiggle more, they look happier, they're more excitable. So those are all signals that he is ready to be petted, where right now that is not the case. So wait for that to happen beforehand. So see if you can go sit in the chair. Pull him back.
Max.
Pull him back.
Max.
There you go. And then the ending goal is to see if we can get him to lay down about this close. If you can pan over just to show about where I am in comparison to Max. Perfect. Just to give an idea of how far we've come. Again, I don't want to initiate contact with him. If he wants to come over and smell my foot, I've put my foot out here so he can smell at my feet, so he can get to know who I am without actually having me touch him. So I'm fine with letting him smell me. Notice he smelled me and then he walked away. That's the kind of thing we want to be seeing.
That's fast.
Do this for a couple of weeks before, read his body language before you consider letting anyone pet him. With people he knows already, this should go faster, but with strangers, you definitely want to wait at least a couple of weeks to a month before they start petting him directly. Okay?